and continue living and surviving in spite of the odds, then you can keep advocating for them as well.
Donald Trump described Gaza as a demolition site, as hell. Well, this is what it looks like today, after 15 and a half months of war. But for Gazans, it is home, however hellish, and they want to rebuild here, not be forced to move elsewhere.
This is our country. If they want two states, fine. If not, we remain here. Where else would we go? We won't go anywhere. This is our land, the land of our ancestors. They are the ones who came from the other side of the world, bringing killing, destruction and displacement.
We reject Trump's decisions and those of his aides and supporters who push for displacement. Why should we be forced into displacement? We remain here, even if it means living on the rubble of our homes. Better that than living in humiliation elsewhere.
Benjamin Netanyahu sat by Donald Trump last night, barely able to contain his own surprise, and with a hint of a smile.
Gaza is not a place for people to be living, and the only reason they want to go back, and I believe this strongly, is because they have no alternative. What's the alternative? Go where? There's no other alternative. If they had an alternative, they'd much rather not go back to Gaza and live in a beautiful alternative that's safe.
Trump's proposal has stunned the Middle East, and the Palestinian representative to the UK was defiant.
It took Israel that ethnic cleansing in 1948, the military occupation of 1967, the colonization and the theft of land, and the system of oppression and apartheid, and all the way to the genocide.
I guarantee this was part of the ceasefire deal. I mean, I told you that they had designs for at least doing a permanent military installation in northern Gaza, and that their designs for the West Bank was the permanent annexation. Like, that's it. I don't know. I don't know what else to say about the situation. I said it even after we talked about Donald Trump pushing for the ceasefire. I told you that there was probably going to be some additional things that the guy who got $100 million for Miriam Adelson was going to do.
Gaza, yet the people of Gaza and the people of Palestine, our people, did not leave their homes.
Netanyahu is still in Washington for a few more days. Back home, he has been under pressure from the extreme right to resume the war in Gaza. The US president's proposal has come at a perfect moment for him. It is a political lifeline for the Israeli Prime Minister.
I think that it is crucial today to consider and examine ideas that are out of the box. After all, Gaza is a failed experiment. It certainly failed under Hamas rule. Anyone with their eyes open understands that Gaza in its current state has no future.
The forced removal of Palestinians from Gaza would be ethnic cleansing. Trump has given no detail how it would work, and it has no backing from Western allies. And with negotiations just starting to extend the Gaza ceasefire, it is a very risky and possibly dangerous move. Alistair Bunkle, Sky News, in Jerusalem.
In the old bombed-out UN school in Jabalia, just north of Gaza City, there are still some classrooms intact. People whose homes have been destroyed moved in here last week when the Israelis allowed them back into northern Gaza. Mahfoud Hassan's room here has a nickname now, Orphan Class. Her two sons were killed during the war. She's surrounded by their children. Yesterday, Donald Trump called for Mahfoud and every Gazan to be supplanted. But no army in the world could move her out of Gaza now because it's where her sons are buried.
ايش مصيرنا اللي جاي مش عارفين رغم هذا الحمد لله الحمد لله الحمد لله على كل حال اقسم بالله رغم هذا كله لا يقولوا اطلع على دي الاردن ولا على مصر لا مش هطلع هذاني قاعد فوق الرطب صارني من ريحة أولادي قاعدة.
Nafut's daughter Lubna brings our team to the family home further north in Beth Hanoun. The children, all 10 of them, come along. The house was destroyed in the bombing at the beginning of the war. The family have since moved at least 6 times.
ما أعرف وضل خلوا ذكريات ولا حاجة خلوا من الذكريات كله راح الحمد لله الحمد لله إنه أولادي سلموا وأحفادي سلموا والحمد لله الحمد لله رب العالمين هذا بكفي كله بتعوض.
As she speaks, the children find new playgrounds in the ruins. Adults see collapsed homes, they see slides. And thus begins the business of putting down delicate roots again. This family travelled back to the north of the Strip and home. Last week, our team also met Afaf Salah on the road heading south to Khan Yunis, one of the hundreds of thousands on the move. She was heading there to reunite with her daughters.
It's just crazy that, like, every day there's a fresh hell. Every day. These images, and even far more gruesome images than this one, have been burned into the collective consciousness of so many, especially those who don't only consume mainstream outlets. Now, mainstream outlets are, 16 months late to the game, but finally covering it with some truth and dignity. Perhaps a little too late. And I don't know. I don't know where it's going to go. Because I don't want to lose out on hope that, all of this pressure won't amount to anything, and say that all of this pressure won't amount to anything. But I am worried.
ما شفتش بنتي من ايام الحرب ولدت ما شفتهاش ورايحه اشوف اختي وبنتي.
You just can't give up. These people are not giving up, so you can't either. That's my point, okay? Their existence is resistance. Their existence is perseverance. We live in the lap of luxury in the Western world, in the heart of empire. If they can continue living and surviving in spite of the odds, then you can keep advocating for them as well.
أولادي 3 استشهدوا وجوزي استشهد و3 محبوسين. حسبي الله ونعم الوكيل، حسبي الله ونعم الوكيل. يا رب ينتقم منهم يا رب اللي صار فينا يصير في كل إسرائيل.
Afaf arrives at where her daughter, sister and extended family are staying. A grandchild sees her first, then inside to her daughter.
لا حول ولا قوة الله يرحم اللي مات خلص هذا كل الله فصلي كامل وانا مشتاق لكم يما مشتاقة والله يما صدق وانا اشوفك طول الحرب وانا
These family reunions have been a long time coming, and they're complicated, full of joy but delayed bereavement too. And these are the people Donald Trump says should leave Gaza. He is a real estate man. But what price, what specifications could an estate agent put on this home?
After the horrific October 7th attack on Israel, when about 1,200 people were killed and 250 others were taken hostage, Israel launched a war to destroy Hamas. Tens of thousands of people were killed in the process, and much of that territory is in ruins today. So yesterday, President Trump made this suggestion for what could happen next.
Oh, my God.
We have an opportunity to do something that could be phenomenal. And I don't want to be cute, I don't want to be a wise guy, but the Riviera of the Middle East, this could be something that could be so bad, this could be so magnificent. But more importantly than that is the people that have been absolutely destroyed that live there now can live in peace in a much better situation because they're living in hell.
Now, the plan would also involve relocating more than 2 million Palestinians. We're joined now by the president's national security advisor, that's Mike Waltz. Mr. Waltz, thank you so much for joining us. We're all looking forward to this conversation. We really appreciate you taking the time. So yesterday,
Sure.
when the
Good to be
thank
with
you.
you. Thank you.
When the president made that announcement yesterday, ran that proposal, I'm told, I wasn't there, but I'm told that a lot of jaws dropped, that there was gasping in the room. And I guess my first question for you is, what right do we, the U.S., have to do this when you have 2 million Palestinians that say, listen, this is our home, we don't want to leave, we want to rebuild?
Like, considering that the overwhelming majority of liberals on at least social media apps saw this as yet another opportunity to fucking dunk on the genocided people's immediate family members living in the United States of America, despite the reality that like third-party voters could not have actually made up for Kamala Harris's issues. I don't know if liberals will look at the situation and go, even with all of their hatred of Donald Trump, I don't know if liberals will look at this issue and go, okay, maybe we are the bad guys. Like, this should be a wake-up moment. This doesn't even feel like real life anymore. I can't believe the things that are happening. Yeah. Again, these absolutely smug, nasty people who had nothing to say when Biden and Harris were slaughtering, starving, and displacing Palestinians for 15 months. No snarky comment then. Imagine shitting on voters who lost their families to genocide. This is an NBC News reporter. Trump wins Dearborn Heights amid fury over Gaza-Lebanon wars. Trump proposes permanent displacement of Gazans as he welcomes Netanyahu to the White House. This is Sahil Kapoor, NBC News senior national political reporter. Like, I know that lesser evil voting is in theory correct, but in practice leads to liberals basically engaging in the most insane equations. But how is now the lesser evil voting argument that's taking place, whether it is better to just kill every single Palestinian with bombs right now, as it took place under the Biden administration, or whether it's better to forcibly remove them from this land at gunpoint and ship them off into camps elsewhere. Like, that's what the lesser evil dynamic has turned into for a lot of people. And I genuinely don't understand how evil people can be. He had wife on stream where she said, I hope Hasan is happy with Trump now. They should name a street in Gaza after him. It's all a game to them. Yeah, I don't think they care about Palestinians. I'm going to be very real, okay? That's such a gross fucking statement. Especially considering that I, once again, warned people over and over again that it's not like Donald Trump was going to be better, and even debated people on this issue, both from my community and also even prominent Trump boosters. It's insane. The only significant aspect of Donald Trump's ceasefire was that he had the ability to do it. And it wasn't just Trump that had the ability to do it by way of Steve Witkoff. Steve Witkoff is not a brilliant foreign policy advisor. He's a fucking golf buddy of Donald Trump's who does real estate. That's how much power and influence America has over Israel. It wasn't because Benjamin Netanyahu was like, oh yeah, I'll do this because you're going to let me permanently annex Gaza. Okay? After all, he could have just kept the bombing going and then permanently annexed Gaza without a ceasefire whatsoever. The point here is that America has always held all the cards. You really seem to like the sound of your own voice. I am a professional political commentator by trade. This is... God, you're such a cornball. How can you take yourself seriously in that turtleneck? Your opinions are worthless. Your small percentage of stands that follow what you say don't matter in the real world. You are a fucking cornflake, Hasan. Your views are so out of touch with reality. It is scary. I feel bad for everybody that listens to this puke. Lol, professional. It seems like you're very mad, but I don't know if you're just mad about me or if you're mad about something that's going on in your own personal life that you're so upset over my sartorial choices. I hope you get better, though. Like, yes, I'm familiar with no other land. The people deserve to be mad at you. What the fuck? You had big influence and chose to go against Kamala. You made people vote for Jill Stein. You kept shitting on Kamala. I like that the new talking points have been ordered by the people. Let's see. This is from a fan channel from November 4th, 2024. Okay. The stream is from November 4th, 2024. But I have echoed this sentiment numerous times. Why you should not vote for Jill Stein, and especially not for Donald Trump. Now that you've actually seen that that was my take, will you reconsider? Will you watch? Will you understand that you were duped? Will you maybe get mad at the person who duped you? Or will you continue on your conquest? It is legitimately ridiculous that you just rally every 4 years instead of campaigning all of the other times when you should be campaigning. And yes, I do think that she is a grifter. That's it. That's how I feel about it. That's why I don't usually talk about it. It's fine. If you want to vote for her, you know,
She went to the Palestine protest. It was like one of the few instances where she actually was, like even before this election cycle. You saying we're gonna?
Oh my God! Why isn't it loading?
Families have done more for people than Green Party done in their entire history besides take money away. But yeah, like there are places, if you are very serious about like,
I'm losing my mind. Anyway, you can go watch the video on your own time if you want to.